Many women look into the mirror and see only the passing of time, but they often fail to notice what time has given them in return. A face sculpted by wisdom, eyes that have seen so much, and a presence that no longer feels the need to prove itself. We live in a society where beauty is too often measured by what can be seen, yet the deepest kind of beauty is something that's felt, not always visible. It's the calm someone brings when they enter a room. It's the quiet dignity in how they respond instead of react. It's the soothing voice that speaks not to impress, but to truly connect. You might think you've lost your beauty because you compare yourself to a younger version of who you once were, but that comparison is unnecessary and unhelpful. Why? Because true beauty matures like fruit ripening under the sun, like light softening in the late evening, like the land becoming richer after a rainfall. In this message, I'll be sharing 12 clear signs that show you are right now a beautiful and magnetic woman, even if nobody has reminded you of that recently. These signs have nothing to do with makeup, clothing, or flattery. They come from the way you live. And once you begin to recognize them, you'll stop chasing beauty and start radiating it. Now, let's begin not by turning to the outside world, but by looking within, by pausing, breathing, and becoming aware. Because the truth is, you already are the woman you've been trying to become. We're simply peeling back the layers that made you forget. So let's start with quiet. In the still moments of life, early mornings when everything is hushed, or nights when the silence is heavy, there's a kind of beauty that gently appears. It doesn't shout for attention. It doesn't ask for recognition. It simply exists, breathing beside you like a soft rhythm. This beauty might not always be seen with the eyes, but it's deeply felt by those who are near. It's the power of inner stillness. So many women go through life not knowing the effect they have on the world, not because they aren't beautiful, but because they've never been taught to understand the strength of their own calm energy. Stillness isn't weakness. It isn't pulling away. It's the decision to stay grounded in yourself, no matter how loudly the world around you shifts. For a mature woman who's already seen life rise and fall, who has stood strong through both joy and loss, this stillness is not just attractive, it's transformative. When you've lived through decades, you reach a moment when you don't need words to be heard. People can feel you. They notice how you hold your silence. They see how your gaze remains steady when someone else is falling apart. They sense your breath staying slow and full while others rush ahead. Science now supports what old traditions have always known. Calm is catching. Your nervous system, the one responsible for your heartbeat, digestion, and emotions, can tune itself to match the steadiness or chaos of someone else. This is what experts call co-regulation. If someone is feeling anxious, reactive, or unsettled, their body instinctively looks for someone more centered to help bring them back into balance. Think about this. Have you ever been in a room and felt calmer just by being near someone who didn't say much? That was their stillness helping to reset your own. Now ask yourself, how often have you been that source of peace for someone else? You may not recognize it in the mirror, but if you've trained your thoughts not to race, your breath not to shorten, and your voice not to rise, you have a presence that's rare, and rarity is what people truly find beautiful. This kind of calm is forged through living. A woman in her 50s, 60s, or beyond who has experienced betrayal yet chose forgiveness, who is grieved without growing bitter, who stood in uncertainty without falling apart. This woman wears stillness like a crown, not because it came easily to her, but because she earned every ounce of it. Let me tell you a story. There was an older woman named Aku who lived near a quiet village outside Kyoto. She wasn't known for her appearance, but for how people felt after speaking with her. Strangers would leave her company feeling lighter, as if a weight had quietly been lifted. When asked about her secret, she simply smiled and said, "I listen without letting other people's noise settle in my heart. That's what inner stillness is. That's beauty that quietly heals. In romantic relationships especially, this quality is priceless. A woman who radiates calm provides something that most people don't even realize they're searching for: emotional safety. Not the kind of safety that shields you from life's pain, but the kind that lets you be completely yourself without fear of being judged. This is the base of real connection. And it's a kind of beauty that doesn't diminish, it only deepens. Eastern philosophy speaks of the unmoved mover, the one who influences everything but is not overwhelmed by it. This is the woman who doesn't chase approval, who doesn't explain herself to be accepted, who can say no without guilt and yes without fear. She moves like a deep river, clear, still, and full. In her presence, men relax, children feel secure, friends breathe easier. So how does someone build this kind of stillness? It starts with the breath. Science shows that deep belly breathing, especially when you breathe in slowly through your nose and exhale longer through your mouth, activates your body's rest and heal system. It slows the heartbeat, eases blood pressure, and restores a feeling of peace inside. When you breathe like this regularly, especially in stressful moments, your body learns to make calm its default setting. Your posture matters too. Standing or sitting with an open and upright posture signals confidence to the brain. A well-known study by Amy Cuddy revealed that taking up space with your body for just 2 minutes can boost confidence and lower stress hormones. Now imagine the power of a woman who no longer shrinks herself, but stands with quiet strength, not because she's fighting life, but because she no longer fears it. This kind of openness doesn't scream beauty. It feels like beauty, because beauty isn't just how you appear. It's how others feel in your presence. This leads us to another powerful truth. Real elegance today is found in presence. In a world that's constantly distracted, nothing is more attractive than someone who's fully present. Being present means giving all your attention to the moment you're in. When you speak, your whole body communicates, not just your mouth. When you listen, you're not just preparing what to say next. You're fully engaged, receiving the other person's words with care. This kind of presence is not just a trait, it's a daily practice. There's a false belief that older women become invisible over time. But that only happens when they stop showing up with their full presence. The moment you turn your awareness away from life, life turns its eyes from you. But when you bring your full attention into a space, you light it up. You become unforgettable. Let me give you a real example. There was a woman named Elena who worked in a local bookstore. She was in her mid-60s with silver strands in her hair and a face marked by stories. People didn't remember her because of her age. They remembered her because she made them feel seen. When she asked, "Can I help you find something?" it felt like she meant it. She made eye contact. She remembered people's names. When she picked out a book to recommend, it felt deeply personal. One day, a young man said to her, "Every time I talk to you, I feel important." That's presence. That's beauty, and it had nothing to do with her appearance. In love, presence is the invisible bond that holds two people together. Without it, physical beauty can't keep a relationship alive. A woman who is mentally distracted, who's overly harsh with herself, or who puts on a performance instead of being real, she might be noticed, but she won't be truly known. To be genuinely beautiful is not to be looked at, it's to be felt. To be remembered, to be loved for who you are, not for how you look. Presence is often rooted in meditation, but it can also be woven into everyday life. Mindfulness, a practice that science has shown can increase areas of the brain that handle emotion, helps cultivate this. When you eat, eat slowly. As you walk, pay attention to each step. When someone talks to you, look into their eyes, not at your phone. When you breathe, feel the breath all the way in and fully out. These may not seem exciting or flashy, but they gradually awaken your inner glow. Over time, people begin to notice something different about you. They can't explain what it is, but they're drawn to your presence. You help them feel noticed. You make them feel as though time has slowed down in a world that's always speeding by. That feeling is more beautiful than anything else. A woman who lives in the present moment has a rare elegance, not the kind tied to money or trends, but a quiet depth. The word elegance comes from the Latin elegare, which means to choose or to select. So true elegance isn't about status, it's about intention. When you choose to be aware, you're choosing yourself. You're choosing real connection. And you're deciding to be fully here without needing to apologize. Think about how a dancer moves, not just following the steps, but staying fully focused on every motion. There's a special kind of grace in that, and the same grace lives in you when you move through life awake and aware. You become living grace, and in relationships, this becomes something powerful. Men are naturally drawn to a woman who can fully hold the moment, not because she is loud or overbearing, but because she is truly present. Her energy isn't scattered, her eyes don't wander, her thoughts aren't racing ahead. She is grounded, and this makes others feel like they matter, like they're the only person in the world. This is the opposite of how most of society works now, where multitasking and constant thinking are the norm. Presence simply says, I am already enough. And so is this moment. That's where real dignity comes from, and true strength, too. In stillness and in being present, the message is always the same. The most wonderful parts of you are not seen with eyes, they are felt through presence. Even if you don't see it, every single day you have the chance to show a kind of beauty that doesn't fade with time. The kind that helps people feel secure, valued, and truly noticed. A beauty that's not built on effort, but on awareness. Not on being perfect, but on being peaceful. Let's keep walking deeper into this truth, step by step, not by adding more layers to who you are, but by remembering what's always been within you. Real beauty is often not in reaching for more, but in letting go of what's extra. So take a deep breath, stand firm, and let your quiet strength speak louder than words. There is a kind of woman who enters a room and everyone senses her, not because of what she wears, not because of her age or her title, but because of the way she holds herself. It's in her eyes, her stance, and her presence. She hasn't faded with age. She's become more visible in a way that speaks louder than looks. One reason for this is how she sees. Not just what her eyes look like, but how they observe the world. There is maturity in her look, a depth, and a softness. This is a sign of a woman who has grown into her beauty. She sees beyond the masks people wear. To really see someone without illusion or expectation is rare, and it shows wisdom. It takes a quiet mind and a gentle heart. It means you've allowed yourself to be truly seen, to be hurt, to heal, and to grow. A woman who sees past the surface is no longer fooled by show. She notices what isn't said. She hears silence between words. She senses pain behind smiles and honesty beneath what seems ordinary. This way of seeing can come with age, but age alone isn't enough. It also comes from turning inward, from facing your own masks. In Eastern wisdom, it is said, the one who knows herself knows others. And this is where deep connection begins. There's a difference between being looked at and being understood. Many young women get used to being noticed by men, society, and peers based on how they appear. But being truly seen is something else entirely. It's when someone looks into your eyes and sees your spirit, not just your face. And just as you want to be seen this way, you must also learn to see others like that. This becomes a quiet strength in close connections because most people, whether they say it or not, are hiding behind masks. The mask of always being fine, the mask of control, the mask of happiness. We wear these masks to keep going in the world, but underneath is the real person, unsure, seeking and longing to be loved. When a woman reaches a point where she doesn't judge others by their masks, she gains a quiet power. People are drawn to her, not because she flatters, but because she sees who they are and responds kindly instead of with judgment. She makes people feel safe in their flaws. Psychology calls this unconditional positive regard, a term from Carl Rogers meaning to fully accept someone without needing them to change. This mindset helps people heal, and a woman who can do this, who can look at a man, a child, or a friend and see their strengths and faults at once without looking away, offers something rare. She doesn't give shallow compliments. She isn't dazzled by success or beauty, and she doesn't look down on those who are struggling. Her view is clear and fair. She understands that even the most capable people carry pain, that loud voices often come from loneliness, and that the perfect picture can hide real stress. Her insight doesn't make her bitter. It makes her deeply kind. Let me tell you about a woman named Miriam, an older woman who worked as a counselor in a local center. She was in her 70s, well past the age where society often ignores women. But anyone who sat across from her felt deeply seen. She listened in a way that melted walls. One young woman once told her, "I don't even know why I'm crying. Just looking into your eyes felt like you understood everything I was trying to hide." Miriam had learned how to look past masks. She had trained herself to see with her heart. In love and relationships, this is a life-changing gift. Many men have never felt truly seen. They've been expected to perform, to provide, to protect, but rarely to just be. A woman who can see the vulnerable boy inside the strong man or the dreamer beneath the quiet face opens something in him. She doesn't have to push or demand. Her presence alone is enough. She becomes more than a partner. She becomes a mirror, and in her reflection, he finds a chance to be loved for who he is, not what he does. This doesn't mean she allows bad behavior. Quite the opposite. A woman who truly sees isn't easily fooled. She catches when words and energy don't match. She doesn't guess or overthink. She just knows. Her awareness isn't fear-based. It's rooted in being present. She knows herself well, and that gives her a calm way of reading others without needing to analyze. From a brain science view, this kind of seeing uses something called mirror neurons. They help us connect to how others feel. Women often have more active mirror neurons, which may explain their strong emotional awareness. But when this awareness is paired with maturity, it turns into insight, not reaction, but still understanding. This changes how she communicates. She doesn't jump to criticize. She asks gently. She listens before responding. And because she sees behind the surface, she answers the real need, not just the words. Let's picture a moment in a couple's life. A man comes home stressed and cold with his words. A younger woman might feel hurt and snap back or pull away. But a wiser woman watches. She breathes and notices, and instead of reacting, says, "You seem like you've had a rough day. Do you feel like talking or just want to sit here for a while?" This isn't weakness. It's real strength. It's emotional intelligence. She isn't accepting bad behavior. She's recognizing that what we show on the outside isn't always the full truth. And by giving room for the truth to come out, she changes the moment, not by force, but through calm presence. A woman becomes not only beautiful, but also powerful. Her very presence softens tension. Her clarity disarms defenses. And her ability to see people as they truly are, not just how they present themselves, welcomes honesty in return. There's also something spiritual about this gift. In many Eastern philosophies, the eyes are believed to be windows to the soul. The gaze of a meditator, a monk, or someone deeply aware often carries a quality of stillness, awareness, and compassion. These aren't qualities that can be faked. They are born from years of inner reflection, from turning inward, facing illusions, and coming out with wisdom. A woman who has gone through such a journey might not be wearing robes or sitting in a temple, but her eyes still hold that same depth. She could be a grandmother, a teacher, or simply a quiet soul in the community. Yet when she looks at you, you feel recognized. It's as if she hasn't just lived years, but many lives. In relationships, this becomes a gift. Many men are in search of peace, though they don't know how to find it. They long for understanding, but don't know how to ask. When a woman can offer both through her presence and perception, she becomes unforgettable. Not because she speaks perfectly, but because she makes a man feel like he can stop pretending. He can finally exhale and be human. This doesn't mean relationships with such a woman are free of difficulty. In truth, a woman who sees through the surface often inspires growth in others. Once someone feels truly seen, they can't hide behind old identities anymore. This may feel uneasy at first, but it's often where transformation begins. Being genuinely attractive isn't always about looks. Sometimes it's in the small ways you influence a room. It's in the softness of your gaze, the calmness in your voice, and the clarity in your perspective. And these things can't be bought, injected, or filtered. They're earned through a life of self-reflection, truth, and compassion. Cultivating such traits starts with learning to see yourself beyond appearances. If you tend to judge others by how they look, chances are you do the same to yourself. If you only notice your aging skin, your changing body, or so-called flaws, that's what you'll believe others focus on too. But when you look at yourself with deeper eyes, with compassion, with wisdom, with truth, you begin to see the real beauty that has developed over time. And once you see it, others will as well. Let's return to the story of Eiko, the elder woman from a Japanese village. She once told a young woman struggling with self-doubt, "The mirror that reflects the most light is the one that's been polished over time, not the brand new one." The young woman looked puzzled. Eiko smiled and said, "Your soul is that mirror. Every hardship, every lesson, every tear, it's all polished you. Now you show more than your face, you show your spirit. To truly see others beyond their outer masks, you have to become that mirror. Not one that judges or distorts, but one that reflects truth gently. In this way, your very being becomes a gift. You will start to see a shift in your relationships. You'll attract not those who want to use or impress, but those who are looking for depth. Drama will no longer stick to you because your awareness won't let it settle. You won't just relate to people's masks. You'll connect with your essence, and that kind of bond doesn't fade. It grows deeper. People may come to you not to be rescued, but to be understood. You could become a source of insight in your community, a comfort to your family, and a safe presence in your relationships. This is a form of beauty far greater than physical appearance. Your worth won't be counted by how many heads turn when you walk in, but by how many hearts feel safe and calm in your presence. So if you've ever questioned your beauty because your face isn't what it used to be, remember this: the most powerful gaze is not one that demands to be noticed, but one that offers genuine understanding. When you look at someone, not to judge, not to compare, not to criticize, but to truly see and connect, you are offering one of the rarest gifts this world has to offer. In that moment, you are deeply beautiful. There's a kind of strength that can't be faked, a quiet kind of power that isn't loud, isn't forceful, and doesn't seek approval. You'll find it in a woman who no longer wavers with every outside opinion, who doesn't chase attention, and who doesn't react to every bump in her environment. She's rooted in herself. She's steady, calm, and fully present. To be self-possessed means to live in your body completely, to be grounded in thought, and to be clear emotionally. It doesn't mean lacking emotion, it means having mastery over it. This kind of woman isn't cold, she's composed. She's not stiff, she's steady. And this calm presence may be one of her most beautiful traits. In a world full of noise and distraction, she is still. She knows who she is, and others feel it. When she enters a space, she might not demand attention, but she earns respect. People may not know exactly why they notice her, but they sense something grounded and real in her. There's no desperation in her energy, no clinginess in her expression. That inner calm creates a quiet pull, a kind of gravity, especially for those craving stability in a world of emotional storms. Beating such a presence isn't about luck or natural talent. It's a path you choose, built through years of intentional living. It comes from lessons learned through hardship, solitude, reflection, and stillness. A self-possessed woman has looked at herself, not just at her reflection, but at her habits, her fears, her emotional triggers. She's faced them with openness and bravery, not harsh judgment. Eastern wisdom teaches that the goal isn't to be untouched, but to be undisturbed. This difference matters. Life will shake you. Grief, joy, love, and loss all stir the heart. But if you're emotionally steady, you don't get thrown off course with every wave. You learn to move with the waves without losing who you are in them. There's even a scientific term that matches this idea, self-regulation. It's the nervous system's ability to stay balanced, even when things around you are chaotic. A woman who pauses before she speaks, breathes before reacting, and listens before responding is practicing high self-regulation. This isn't only a mental strength, it's physical. Her nervous system has learned how to return to calm. And when that happens, it doesn't only help her, it benefits every person close to her. Let's look at this in real life, especially in a romantic setting. Imagine a man who's had a long, hard day. He comes home carrying stress in his body, frustration in his voice, and a mind that can't unwind. Now imagine that he walks into a space where a woman doesn't question him aggressively or meet his tension with her own. She's present. Not distant, not cold, but calm. She notices his mood, but doesn't absorb it. She gives space, not solutions. Maybe she offers a quiet meal, a gentle gaze, and a soft question. Would you like to sit in silence or talk about it? To a man who's been misunderstood all day, this is peace. Self-possession isn't passive, it's powerful in quiet ways. It listens without gripping. It watches without judgment. It replies with intention, not impulse. This makes a woman deeply appealing, not just in looks, but in the sense that people feel safe around her. Not smothered, just safe. Because she's not reacting to every emotional change, she becomes her own solid ground. There's a Zen story about a woman carrying a cup of tea across a crowded room. People were stumbling, shouting, bumping into each other, but she didn't spill a drop. When asked how she stayed so steady in the chaos, she said, "I keep my eyes on the cup, not on the crowd."
Sadly, the skill of silence has been lost in our fast-paced world where noise and chatter are constant. But what if the moments we choose not to speak were just as powerful as the times we do? How often do we pause to consider the meaning of our quiet moments? Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches people how to regulate themselves using logic and emotional resilience. It's a valuable way to understand when to remain silent. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, once said, "It is better to stumble with the feet than with the tongue." This wise statement raises an essential question. How many times have we regretted speaking too quickly or out of anger? Stoicism doesn't just caution us against rash speech, it encourages us to use silence as a tool for growth and tranquility. Picture facing life's obstacles with a steady confidence that your silence conveys more than words ever could. Stoic teachings show that silence is not merely the lack of speech, but a purposeful, thoughtful reaction. It is a deliberate and influential force, a tactic that can soothe conflicts, shield us from harm, and deepen our understanding. But when should we choose silence? Let's explore 9 crucial moments when embracing silence is not only wise, but also transformative. As we reflect on these lessons, consider how practicing stoic silence might reshape your interactions and personal peace. What if you could diffuse a heated argument with measured quiet instead of harsh words? What could a silent pause reveal about your emotions and thoughts? Join us as we uncover the power of silence and let the wisdom of Stoicism guide us. Are you prepared to embrace the profound insights of Stoicism? If so, take a moment to acknowledge your journey before proceeding. When facing unfair criticism, Stoic philosophy sees this as an opportunity to strengthen character and demonstrate integrity. Marcus Aurelius once noted that if something external disturbs you, it is not the thing itself that causes distress, but your perception of it. He also reminded us that we have the power to change our perspective at any time. This insight suggests that the discomfort we feel from criticism stems from our reaction rather than the words themselves. How might shifting our perception of criticism empower us? Have you ever remained composed in response to unfair criticism and changed the outcome? Imagine leading a work project only to receive harsh criticism from your boss. A Stoic approach would be to calmly analyze the feedback, extracting any useful insights while disregarding baseless negativity. Epictetus emphasized that this approach preserves inner peace and professional dignity. He advised us not just to speak about philosophy, but to embody it. Responding to criticism with composed, well-thought-out actions rather than defensiveness allows the quality of your work to speak for itself. Choosing not to react to unjust criticism is not passivity, but a strategic move that aligns with Stoic principles of focusing on what we can control, our responses and mindset. This quiet resilience can transform potential conflicts into a testament to our strength and philosophical commitment. Consider how silence can serve you in difficult situations. What opportunities could arise if you practiced thoughtful silence instead of impulsive speech? How might this not only enhance your peace of mind, but also influence those around you? Applying Stoic principles to everyday life, especially in moments of unfair criticism, aligns us with a philosophy that values strong character over fleeting validation. This approach fosters personal growth and encourages others to follow suit, particularly in a world where self-promotion often overshadows humility. Stoicism urges us to embrace silence. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good person should be one." Silence, in response to boasting, for instance, can transform an environment driven by ego into one of introspection and development. Criticism is an unavoidable part of life and can often be a helpful tool for growth. However, not all criticism is fair. Sometimes it is meant to harm rather than help. Handling such situations with grace can be challenging, but Stoicism offers timeless wisdom on dealing with unwarranted negativity. By following Stoic principles, we can turn adversity into opportunities for personal and mental growth. What matters is not what happens to you, but how you respond to it, Epictetus taught. When faced with unfair criticism, pause before reacting. This prevents impulsive responses and allows time to assess the situation without emotional distress. Detach criticism from your identity. As Stoics taught, you control your mind, not external events. Recognizing this truth strengthens resilience. Unfair criticism often reveals more about the critic than the recipient. Marcus Aurelius advised that if someone proves us wrong, we should gladly change our minds, for truth is our ultimate pursuit. Even in the harshest critique, there may be a fragment of truth. Seek out useful insights while discarding unnecessary negativity. As Epictetus said, first learn the meaning of what you say, then speak. Remaining composed and polite in response to unfair criticism demonstrates self-control and prevents escalation. A calm demeanor can often diffuse the critic's hostility and exhibit maturity. Prioritize self-improvement over dwelling on unfair words. Don't waste time arguing about what a good person should be, Marcus Aurelius urged. Redirect your focus toward your own goals and virtues. By concentrating on self-betterment rather than unfair criticism, you rise above negativity and continue progressing on your path. Dealing with unjust criticism can be tough, but adopting Stoic principles turns these challenges into opportunities for growth and resilience. Pause to reflect. Detach criticism from your self-worth. Seek constructive elements. Respond with composure and stay focused on your development. In doing so, you embody the Stoic ideal of maintaining inner calm and strength despite external adversity. Picture yourself at a social gathering where a colleague brags excessively about their latest raise and luxurious lifestyle. The urge to counter their boasting with your own achievements may arise, but Stoicism teaches the value of restraint. Choosing silence allows you to maintain composure, letting others' words reveal their character while conserving your energy for meaningful discussions. This approach safeguards dignity and portrays confidence in one's accomplishments without needing external validation. Stoic wisdom advises that true generosity lies not in returning one favor with another, but in surpassing expectations. This applies to boasting as well. Responding to empty pride with silent dignity showcases the depth of one's character. Instead of competing through words, respond with the quiet grace of your actions and moral strength. Reflect on how often you respond to someone else's success story with one of your own. What if, instead, you fully listened, acknowledged their achievements with a nod or smile, and stayed grounded in your own aspirations? Adopting Stoic silence amidst boasting fosters a life driven by genuine fulfillment rather than competition. It nurtures an environment where one can thrive with peace and success, grounded in authentic self-worth rather than external comparisons. Consider this principle and apply it to your daily life. How might embracing silence improve your relationships and overall well-being? Share your thoughts and experiences as we continue this journey of self-discovery through Stoic wisdom. Make each other's lives more calm, joyful, and prosperous. Number 3, when facing anger, when we feel angry, it can seem like a wild storm ready to sweep away all logic and peace. However, in the center of this storm, Stoic philosophy provides a safe harbor, a brief pause that allows us to manage these intense emotions. Epicurus, a well-known Stoic figure, advised speaking only when necessary and remaining silent most of the time. Now, picture a situation at work where a colleague's error results in hours of extra work for you. Your initial reaction might be to explode in frustration. But what if you chose silence instead? By resisting the urge to react in anger, you allow yourself time to analyze the situation more rationally. This brief pause can prevent the situation from escalating and encourage productive solutions rather than heated arguments. Think about it. How often has a hasty reaction in anger led to regret? What would change if you took a moment to cool down before responding? Marcus Aurelius, another renowned Stoic, wrote, "How much worse are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" This reflection urges us to consider the aftermath of our anger. More often than not, the results of an angry outburst are far more damaging than whatever provoked us initially. Consider Nelson Mandela, a respected leader who, despite being imprisoned for years, chose to forgive those who wronged him rather than succumb to anger. His choice not only transformed his own life, but also led an entire nation toward reconciliation. Choosing silence when angry does not mean suppressing emotions. It means responding in a way that aligns with your highest self. This approach not only enhances inner peace, but also strengthens relationships and fosters success. As you navigate life's inevitable frustrations, remember that silence can be your refuge, a place where wisdom prevails. Embrace it, and you may discover that a quiet response is not only the most profound, but also the most powerful. Anger is a natural emotion that everyone experiences at some point. However, unchecked anger can harm relationships and negatively impact personal well-being. Stoicism offers practical methods to manage anger by emphasizing self-control, rational thinking, and inner tranquility. Identify the cause, recognize your triggers to determine what exactly provokes your anger. Is it a person, an environment, or a specific event? Self-examination, reflect on why these situations trigger you. Often our perceptions and beliefs play a major role in fueling our emotions. Acceptance. Understand that external circumstances are beyond your control. The only thing you can control is your reaction. Practice mindfulness. Stay present instead of dwelling on past issues or anxieties about the future. Breathing exercises. When anger arises, take deep breaths to relax both your mind and body. Pause before responding. Consider the possible outcomes before you react. Shift perspectives. Try to understand the other person's viewpoint to cultivate empathy. Seeing things from their perspective can lessen feelings of anger. Reframe the situation. Ask yourself how a Stoic philosopher would interpret the situation. Would they consider it trivial or significant? Focus on solutions. Instead of dwelling on the problem, think of constructive ways to address it. Strengthen emotional resilience. Train yourself to regulate your reactions. Remind yourself that you have the power to choose your response. Detach from emotions. Learn to separate your feelings from the actual event. Step back and assess the situation objectively rather than taking it personally. Develop inner strength. Engage in activities that help you manage emotions, such as exercising, journaling, or meditating. Channel anger positively. Instead of letting anger consume you, direct that energy towards something productive, like working out or engaging in creative pursuits. Grow through experience. Use anger as an opportunity for self-awareness and personal improvement. Improve communication. Express your emotions calmly and assertively without hostility or aggression. Managing anger effectively is crucial for overall well-being and relationship health. By understanding the root causes, practicing mindfulness, changing perspectives, developing mental resilience, and channeling anger productively, you can transform negative energy into a force for good. Follow Stoic principles to cultivate inner peace and lead a calm, fulfilling life. Number 4, silence amid false rumors. When people share stories, they spread like leaves carried by a strong wind. When these stories are untrue, they can cause confusion and harm. Stoic philosophy provides a powerful response. Silence. Consider the story of a small-town teacher who was falsely accused of misconduct. As rumors spread, she chose not to react with heated denials or explanations. Instead, she relied on her integrity and honesty to remain steadfast. This silence was not passive surrender, but a calculated decision rooted in wisdom. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." How often have we witnessed words spoken in haste making a situation worse? How can silence serve as a shield against false accusations? By refusing to engage, the teacher allowed the community's initial excitement to die down. As time passed with no new evidence, the truth became her defense. This exemplifies the Stoic mindset. Focus on what you can control, your actions and reactions, rather than trying to stop rumors which are beyond your control. Epictetus once advised responding to insults with kindness, or in this case, silence. This surprising approach suggests that reacting to negativity with grace can diffuse and redirect unproductive conversations. When faced with false accusations, maintaining a composed silence reflects confidence in the truth. To apply this in your own life, remember the value of patience when rumors arise. The best way to preserve your peace and reputation is to live by your principles rather than battling every unverified claim. In these situations, silence is not just a defense mechanism, but a reflection of your commitment to Stoic ideals. As you navigate personal and professional relationships, let Stoic silence guide you through the storm of misinformation, leading you toward a peaceful, joyful, and successful existence. Number 5, coping with loss. How do you face the silence that follows a profound loss? Loss is a universal experience, often leaving behind sadness and uncertainty. Stoicism offers a distinct approach to dealing with grief. For instance, C.S. Lewis, a renowned author, chronicled his grief in A Grief Observed after losing his wife. He wrote, "The pain I feel now is the happiness I had before." This perspective aligns closely with Stoic thought, which sees life's experiences as part of a greater natural order, with love and loss intertwined. Seneca, a notable Stoic philosopher, remarked, "The day which we fear as our last is but the birthday of eternity." How might your perspective on loss shift if you viewed it as a transition rather than an end? What could you gain from embracing the silence that follows grief? Lewis did not attempt to fill the silence with distractions or explanations. Instead, he used it for deep introspection, reflecting the Stoic belief that hardship fosters personal growth. His journey through grief demonstrated that maintaining a composed mind can help process profound sorrow and turn it into an appreciation of life's fleeting beauty. Silence after loss is not about avoiding pain. It is about giving yourself space to process, reflect, and heal. Seek meaning beyond the immediate sorrow. Allow emotions to flow naturally rather than forcing closure. Reflect on how you have coped with past losses. How could the Stoic practice of contemplative silence support you in future grief? How might this approach not only aid your own healing but also offer comfort to those around you? Share your thoughts and experiences on loss, and let's explore together how Stoic wisdom can guide us toward growth and healing. What lessons have you learned, and how has silence aided your recovery? Let's engage in this conversation and grow together. Citium in Athens gives us timeless wisdom on how to handle tough times. Adopting a Stoic mindset can help us stay strong and find peace even when we have lost something or someone truly valuable. It is essential to acknowledge and accept your emotions. Understanding and embracing the feelings that come with loss is an important step in healing. Stoicism reminds us that emotions are natural reactions to life's events. A practical approach is to allow yourself to grieve without self-judgment. If tears come, let them flow. Writing in a journal or confiding in a trusted friend can be beneficial in processing your emotions. Another essential principle of Stoicism is to focus on what is within your control. According to this philosophy, we should release the things beyond our control and concentrate on what we can influence. Identify what aspects of the situation you can change, such as your response to loss, and make peace with what is unchangeable. Viewing loss as an opportunity for growth can be a transformative shift in perspective. Stoics believe that every challenge presents a chance for self-improvement. Consider what lessons you can take from the experience. How can this loss contribute to making you stronger, wiser, or more compassionate? Practicing gratitude is another effective way to reframe loss. Rather than dwelling on what is gone, focus on what remains. Keeping a daily list of things you are grateful for can change your outlook and bring inner calm. Stoicism also highlights the significance of community and mutual support. Seeking help from friends, family, or support groups can make a difference. Discussing your struggles with others can bring comfort and lessen feelings of isolation. Although loss is never easy, Stoic principles offer a framework for resilience and strength. By acknowledging our emotions, concentrating on what we can control, shifting our perspective, embracing gratitude, and seeking support, we can navigate loss in a healthier way. These timeless methods allow us to heal and grow. Encountering ignorance with grace is another valuable Stoic lesson. We often come across individuals who hold firm beliefs despite lacking understanding. While this can be frustrating, it presents an opportunity to cultivate patience and composure. A historical example of this is Galileo, the renowned scientist who advocated for heliocentrism despite widespread opposition. He faced severe resistance and was even placed under house arrest, yet he maintained his integrity by choosing silence over conflict. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control others' actions, we can control our reactions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realizing this will give you strength." Keeping this perspective in mind can be beneficial when dealing with ignorance. How would your responses change if you truly believed you had full control over them? Galileo's silence was not weakness. It was a powerful declaration of his truth. He understood that truth does not need constant defense, but stands on its own over time. This aligns with the Stoic belief in focusing on one's own actions rather than trying to change the beliefs of others. Practicing grace means understanding the limits of our influence and choosing our battles wisely. It requires patience and understanding, even in frustrating situations. This approach not only fosters a peaceful life, but also broadens our perspective, prioritizing long-term respect and success over immediate validation. Consider how silence can be a dignified response to ignorance in your own life. How might this approach enhance your relationships and overall well-being? Let Galileo's story inspire you to practice stoic silence, transforming potential conflicts into opportunities for inner peace and self-improvement. Dealing with rumors is another area where stoicism can be incredibly useful. There have likely been times when you found yourself the subject of gossip, with whispers growing louder as they spread. It is natural to feel hurt, but remaining composed can shift the dynamic entirely. Imagine a community leader devoted to environmental conservation, yet accused of pursuing personal gain. Instead of confronting each rumor, she stayed focused on her mission, guided by Marcus Aurelius's words, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who caused the injury." Her choice to remain silent and continue her advocacy demonstrated a core Stoic principle. External events do not disturb us, but our reactions to them do. How would your life change if you ignored rumors with silence? What strength could you gain by refusing to explain yourself and simply staying committed to your path? If criticism is justified, Epictetus advises us to correct ourselves. If it is false, remaining unbothered allows us to preserve our peace. By not reacting emotionally to rumors, this leader not only maintained her dignity but also influenced others to dismiss the falsehoods. Over time, those who doubted her saw the truth through her consistent actions. This real-life example demonstrates how Stoic thinking can be applied today. When false information spreads, our responses can either fuel the fire or extinguish it. Silence in such situations is not passivity, but an active, powerful choice that lets our actions define us. The next time you encounter rumors, consider how Stoic silence might serve you. How can it help you stay calm and focused? How might it reshape how others perceive you over time? Feel free to share your own experiences in the comments. Your insights could help others navigate similar challenges. Rumors can spread rapidly, damaging reputations and causing unnecessary stress. Developing effective strategies to handle gossip is crucial in an era where misinformation spreads so easily. One key strategy is emotional control. When faced with rumors, keeping emotions in check is vital. Reacting impulsively or defensively can amplify the situation and give the gossip more significance. Instead, take a moment to pause, breathe, and remind yourself that others' opinions do not define you. Engaging in mindfulness or meditation can also help maintain a balanced perspective. Seeking clarity and verifying facts is another important step. Rumors often thrive on ambiguity and misinformation. Instead of accepting them at face value, take the time to investigate, gather information from reliable sources, and seek out the truth. Speak to trusted individuals who can provide clarity before forming a judgment. Asking questions and demanding evidence ensures that responses are based on reality rather than assumptions. Being thoughtful before reacting is equally crucial. The way we respond to rumors can determine their impact. Reacting hastily can lead to misunderstandings and inadvertently fuel the spread of gossip. Instead, assess the situation and consider the consequences of different responses. If a response is necessary, ensure it is measured and factual. In many cases, choosing silence or responding carefully can be the most effective approach. Maintaining integrity through actions is one of the best defenses against false rumors. Over time, consistent ethical behavior can disprove baseless accusations. Staying true to your values and principles in all aspects of life reinforces your credibility. Demonstrate your character through your actions rather than words, ensuring that others recognize the truth. Another powerful Stoic principle is disregarding others' opinions when they are beyond your control. Stoicism encourages focusing only on what we can change and letting go of what we cannot. This includes the thoughts and words of others. Recognizing that you cannot control public perception, but only your own actions, brings inner peace. Trust in yourself and your values, regardless of external criticism. Applying Stoic wisdom in daily life can significantly impact how we navigate rumors and negativity. By managing emotions, seeking the truth, responding wisely, maintaining consistency, and letting go of outside opinions, we can preserve our peace and integrity. These timeless principles offer a roadmap for resilience in the face of adversity. Handle rumors in a fair and reasonable way. By using these strategies, you can manage the troubles that stories bring with grace and resilience, safeguarding your dignity and peace of mind. When dealing with unfairness, Stoic philosophy teaches us to face life's challenges with fairness and inner strength. This is particularly essential when we encounter injustice. As the wise Epicurean once said, "Bear and forbear." This saying reminds us to endure difficult times without complaints and to forgive others for their mistakes. Nelson Mandela fought against racial discrimination in South Africa in a way that clearly reflected this idea. His many years in prison could have filled him with resentment, but instead he emerged as a strong advocate for peace and unity, demonstrating profound Stoic resilience. Mandela didn't simply stand by and allow injustice to persist. He made a conscious decision to focus on healing and bringing people together instead of seeking revenge. This choice exemplifies a vital Stoic belief. Our greatest strength lies in how we choose to respond to external circumstances. How would our own lives change if we followed Mandela's example when facing unfair situations? Can we choose to show understanding and kindness even when it feels impossible? Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that the best way to respond to someone who has wronged you is to not become like them. By choosing not to retaliate and instead fostering a spirit of healing and forward peace, Mandela reshaped an entire nation's view of justice and peace. His life reminds us that silence is not a sign of surrender. It can be a powerful force for transformation and a reflection of personal integrity. This Stoic mindset does not suggest passively accepting injustice. Rather, it involves a deliberate and principled silence that readies us for meaningful action. It is about maintaining inner tranquility and using calmness to encourage thoughtful resolutions that address wrongdoing and create a collective movement toward a better future. As we encounter both minor and significant injustices, let us remember Mandela's silent strength. His legacy teaches us that sometimes the most profound response is found in silence, allowing us to build a foundation for real change and a more fulfilling life. Adopting this approach can change not only personal struggles, but also societal conflicts, leading to a more harmonious existence. Everyone will face unfair circumstances at some point. As a Stoic, it is vital to approach these situations with composure and wisdom. The teachings of Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus offer valuable guidance on handling injustice. They emphasize focusing on what is within our control, maintaining inner calm, and responding with logic. Preserve your inner peace by focusing on your state of mind. Marcus Aurelius advises that no matter what happens around you, your mind should remain steady and composed. Regulating emotions is key. To manage emotions effectively, practice deep breathing, mindfulness, and meditation. Acknowledge what cannot be changed, and understand that the only thing you can control is your response to others' actions. Think logically before responding. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause and consider the best course of action. Try to understand the root cause of the unfairness. Seeking clarity can lead to solutions and a better perspective on the situation. Avoid revenge. Reacting with anger or seeking retribution only escalates problems. Instead, respond calmly and rationally. Stay true to your principles. Let your actions be guided by your core beliefs and values. Ensure that your response aligns with your morals and maintains your dignity. Set a positive example by demonstrating how to handle unfairness with grace and honor. Seek constructive solutions rather than focusing on the problem itself. Approach situations with a problem-solving mindset. Communicate openly and honestly with those involved to find a fair resolution. Whenever possible, work to bring about systemic changes that address the root causes of injustice. Reflect and grow from experiences. Take time to analyze what happened and learn from it. View challenges as opportunities for personal growth and resilience. Prepare yourself with the knowledge and skills necessary to handle similar situations better in the future. It is crucial to stay composed, think rationally, remain true to your values, seek effective solutions, and learn from experiences when confronted with injustice. By following these Stoic principles, you can face unfair situations with integrity and wisdom, turning them into opportunities for growth and improvement. Handling insults with Stoic wisdom is another valuable skill. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." This insight should serve as a reminder every time we are insulted, offering a profound approach to managing such situations. Remain silent. This understanding teaches us that we have the power to control our response. By choosing silence and comprehension over conflict, we maintain our dignity. Mahatma Gandhi, for instance, faced numerous insults and resistance during his fight for India's independence. However, he never responded with anger or insults. Instead, he chose silence and understanding. Gandhi strongly believed in nonviolence, a principle that closely aligns with Stoic teachings. He responded to both verbal and physical attacks with quiet endurance. This often diminished the hostility of his opponents and gained public support for his cause. How might adopting a similar stance when insulted shift the nature of your interactions? What could you gain by keeping your composure instead of reacting immediately? When you remain calm in the face of insults, you give yourself the space to act with intention rather than impulse. This practice not only fosters personal peace, but also enhances your reputation as a composed and admirable individual. Marcus Aurelius once observed, "How much worse are the consequences of anger and grief than the causes of them." Consider this as you navigate daily conflicts. Reflect on how maintaining a stern silence could positively influence your life. Could this approach be the key to achieving greater success and fulfillment? How might your example shape how others handle adversity? As we have explored these significant moments where silence can be powerful, from handling rumors to dealing with loss, Stoic wisdom has provided a clear path to peace and understanding. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one." In his spirit, let us practice the profound strength that can be found in silence. By knowing when to speak and when to listen, we cultivate a life of tranquility, success, and kindness. Apply these Stoic principles to your everyday conversations and observe how thoughtful silence can enhance your life. If you found these insights meaningful and practical, consider showing support by liking this discussion, sharing your thoughts, and spreading these deep philosophical lessons with others. If you're new, subscribe to our channel for more insightful teachings on Stoicism that can help you grow. See you in the next session. There's something peculiar about the way life unfolds. You may think you are the master of your destiny, the sole architect of your choices, yet time and time again, life proves otherwise. There are forces at work beyond your comprehension, beyond your immediate grasp, that shape the trajectory of your path. And when it comes to love, to finding that one person who truly sees you, truly understands you, and walks with you through the turbulence of life, the process is rarely as deliberate as you might imagine. Life has a way of molding us long before we understand why certain things happen. It is not merely about finding the right person, but about becoming the right person. The struggles you endure, the obstacles that test your patience, the heartbreaks that leave you questioning everything, these are not arbitrary. They are part of a much greater design, one that refines you in ways you may not fully appreciate until you look back and see how every trial prepared you for something greater. Pain is often the first sign that something important is happening, not meaningless suffering, but the kind that forces you to grow. If you've ever experienced deep disappointment, whether in relationships, career, or personal endeavors, you know the weight of it. You know the way it unsettles you, pushes you to question yourself, and at times leaves you feeling lost. But what you may not realize in the moment is that these struggles are shaping you into someone capable of sustaining real love. Think about who you were 5 years ago. Would that version of you have been ready for the kind of love you seek now? Chances are the answer is no. And it's not because you were incapable, but because life had not yet refined you. Relationships are not sustained by passion alone. They demand emotional maturity, patience, selflessness, and the ability to communicate not just in moments of joy, but in moments of difficulty. The struggles you face before meeting your soulmate are meant to teach you these things. You may encounter relationships that seem promising but ultimately fall apart. And that pain, it's necessary, not because suffering is a virtue, but because through it, you learn what truly matters. You begin to understand the difference between attachment and love, between infatuation and compatibility, between settling and waiting for what is meant for you. Every failed relationship, every rejection, every moment of loneliness is not a punishment. It is preparation. It is removing what is not meant for you so that you are open to what is. Beyond relationships, life itself places trials before you that stretch your capacity to endure, to empathize, and to grow. Maybe you face financial hardship, professional setbacks, or personal struggles that test your resilience. It may feel like everything is working against you, but in reality, these moments are strengthening you. They are making you into someone who can not only receive love, but sustain it. Because love is not just about finding someone who makes you happy, it's about building a partnership that can withstand the challenges life inevitably brings. It's easy to believe that meeting your soulmate should be effortless, that love should arrive fully formed and without struggle, but that is not how God works. He does not simply hand you what you desire, He prepares you to handle it. If you are in a season of difficulty, feeling as though you are wandering without direction, understand that you are not lost, you are being refined. And when the time is right, when you have become the person you were meant to be, you will find that the love you have been seeking has been prepared for you all along. Life rarely unfolds according to our expectations. We create plans, set timelines, and convince ourselves that we know the exact path we must take to find what we seek. But time and time again, reality proves otherwise. Love, in particular, does not arrive when we demand it. It does not follow the logic of our schedules or the urgency of our desires. Instead, it comes in ways that often seem random, at times when we least expect it, and through circumstances that, in the moment, may feel inconvenient or even frustrating. You may have an idea of how you will meet the person meant for you. You may believe it will happen when you are actively looking, when your life is in perfect order, or when all the conditions are ideal. But love rarely conforms to such expectations. More often than not, it appears as an interruption, something that enters your life quietly, unexpectedly, in a way that you do not immediately recognize as significant. Perhaps it is a casual introduction, an encounter that seems ordinary, or a person you initially overlook. Perhaps it happens when you are preoccupied with other concerns, focused on your career, or navigating personal challenges. It is only later, when you reflect, that you begin to see the perfection in the timing. Divine timing is not about convenience, it is about precision. It is about things unfolding exactly as they need to, not as you wish them to. You may think you are ready for love, but there are lessons you still need to learn, experiences you must go through, and personal growth that must take place before you can fully recognize and appreciate the person meant for you. This is why some encounters feel premature, why some relationships, though meaningful, do not last. They serve their purpose in preparing you, but they are not the destination. Sometimes you will find yourself drawn. There's something peculiar about the way life unfolds. You may think you are the master of your destiny, the sole architect of your choices, yet time and time again, life proves otherwise. There are forces at work beyond your comprehension, beyond your immediate grasp, that shape the trajectory of your path. And when it comes to love, to finding that one person who truly sees you, truly understands you, and walks with you through the turbulence of life, The process is rarely as deliberate as you might imagine. Life has a way of molding us long before we understand why certain things happen. It is not merely about finding the right person, but about becoming the right person. The struggles you endure, the obstacles that test your patience, the heartbreaks that leave you questioning everything, these are not arbitrary. They are part of a much greater design, one that refines you in ways you may not fully appreciate until you look back and see how every trial prepared you for something greater. Pain is often the first sign that something important is happening. Not meaningless suffering, but the kind that forces you to grow. If you've ever experienced deep disappointment, whether in relationships, career, or personal endeavors, you know the weight of it. You know the way it unsettles you, pushes you to question yourself, and at times leaves you feeling lost. But what you may not realize in the moment is that these struggles are shaping you into someone capable of sustaining real love. Think about who you were 5 years ago. Would that version of you have been ready for the kind of love you seek now? Chances are the answer is no. And it's not because you were incapable, but because life had not yet refined you. Relationships are not sustained by passion alone. They demand emotional maturity, patience, selflessness, and the ability to communicate not just in moments of joy, but in moments of difficulty. The struggles you face before meeting your soulmate are meant to teach you these things. You may encounter relationships that seem promising but ultimately fall apart. And that pain, it's necessary, not because suffering is a virtue, but because through it, you learn what truly matters. You begin to understand the difference between attachment and love, between infatuation and compatibility, between settling and waiting for what is meant for you. Every failed relationship, every rejection, every moment of loneliness is not a punishment. It is preparation. It is removing what is not meant for you so that you are open to what is. Beyond relationships, life itself places trials before you that stretch your capacity to endure, to empathize, and to grow. Maybe you face financial hardship, professional setbacks, or personal struggles that test your resilience. It may feel like everything is working against you, but in reality, these moments are strengthening you. They are making you into someone who can not only receive love, but sustain it. Because love is not just about finding someone who makes you happy. It's about building a partnership that can withstand the challenges life inevitably brings. It's easy to believe that meeting your soulmate should be effortless, that love should arrive fully formed and without struggle. But that is not how God works. He does not simply hand you what you desire. He prepares you to handle it. If you are in a season of difficulty, feeling as though you are wandering without direction, understand that you are not lost. You are being refined. And when the time is right, when you have become the person you were meant to be, you will find that the love you have been seeking has been prepared for you all along. Life rarely unfolds according to our expectations. We create plans, set timelines, and convince ourselves that we know the exact path we must take to find what we seek. But time and time again, reality proves otherwise. Love, in particular, does not arrive when we demand it. It does not follow the logic of our schedules or the urgency of our desires. Instead, it comes in ways that often seem random, at times when we least expect it, and through circumstances that, in the moment, may feel inconvenient or even frustrating. You may have an idea of how you will meet the person meant for you. You may believe it will happen when you are actively looking, when your life is in perfect order, or when all the conditions are ideal. But love rarely conforms to such expectations. More often than not, it appears as an interruption, something that enters your life quietly, unexpectedly, in a way that you do not immediately recognize as significant. Perhaps it is a casual introduction, an encounter that seems ordinary, or a person you initially overlook. Perhaps it happens when you are preoccupied with other concerns, focused on your career, or navigating personal challenges. It is only later, when you reflect, that you begin to see the perfection in the timing. Divine timing is not about convenience, it is about precision. It is about things unfolding exactly as they need to, not as you wish them to. You may think you are ready for love, but there are lessons you still need to learn, experiences you must go through, and personal growth that must take place before you can fully recognize and appreciate the person meant for you. This is why some encounters feel premature, why some relationships, though meaningful, do not last. They serve their purpose in preparing you, but they are not the destination. Sometimes you will find yourself drawn to a person who enters your life in an unassuming way. They may not fit the image you once held of your ideal partner. The circumstances may not align with what you had imagined. Perhaps you meet them in a place you never expected to be, or at a time when love was the last thing on your mind. But when something is meant for you, it does not require your permission to enter your life. It arrives on its own, subtly, persistently, waiting for you to recognize it. And that recognition does not always come instantly. We are conditioned to believe that love should be dramatic, that it should be marked by immediate certainty and overwhelming emotion. But the truth is, some of the most profound connections begin quietly. You may not realize in the moment the significance of the person standing in front of you. You may not grasp the weight of their presence in your life until much later. This is because love, when it is real, does not rely on spectacle. It does not need to announce itself loudly. It reveals itself gradually, in small moments, in the way someone understands you without explanation, in the way they challenge you to be better, in the way their presence feels both unfamiliar and deeply known at the same time. And then, when you look back, you see the patterns. You see how everything aligned in ways you could not have orchestrated yourself. You see how the delays, the disappointments, and even the moments of loneliness were necessary, because had you met this person at any other time, under any other circumstances, you may not have been ready, you may not have recognized them for who they truly were. And so the meeting happens not when it is convenient, but when it is right. There is a misconception about love that is being deeply ingrained in our thinking. Many believe that when they meet the right person, it will be accompanied by an overwhelming rush of emotion, an intensity that shakes them to their core, or an immediate certainty that they have found their soulmate. While attraction and excitement are natural, true love, divinely ordained love, rarely operates in chaos. It does not manifest as desperation, fear, or a constant need for reassurance. Instead, it is characterized by something far less dramatic yet infinitely more powerful: peace. When God is leading you to the right person, one of the clearest signs is the absence of confusion. This does not mean that every step of the journey will be easy or that you will never have questions, but at the core of the relationship, there is a steady calm. There is no need for games, no emotional roller coaster, no underlying anxiety about whether the person is interested or whether the relationship will suddenly fall apart. There is an undeniable sense of security, a deep inner knowing that this connection is different, not because it is without flaws, but because it does not disturb your spirit. In contrast, relationships that are not meant for you often bring emotional turbulence. They come with doubt, with a sense of unease that lingers even when everything appears fine on the surface. You may experience moments of happiness, but they are often overshadowed by uncertainty. There is a feeling that you must constantly prove your worth, fight for attention, or suppress parts of yourself to maintain the connection. These are all signs that something is off, that you're trying to force something that was never meant to be permanent. God does not bring confusion. Love that is meant for you does not require you to diminish yourself or live in fear of losing it. When you are with the right person, there is a natural ease, a flow to the relationship that does not require constant effort just to keep it afloat. This does not mean there will be no disagreements or challenges, but even in those moments, there is a mutual respect, a willingness to understand each other rather than tear each other down. Arguments do not turn into battles, they become opportunities for growth. One of the most telling signs of divine alignment in a relationship is the way it affects your sense of self. The right relationship does not make you feel smaller. It makes you feel seen, valued, and supported. It does not create anxiety about whether you are enough. It reassures you that you are. You do not feel the need to hide parts of yourself out of fear that you will be rejected. Instead, you are encouraged to embrace who you truly are. There is freedom in the connection, not restriction. Many people mistake passion for love. They believe that if a relationship does not feel intense at all times, it must not be real. But passion without stability is not love, it is emotional chaos. The strongest relationships are not those that burn the brightest in the beginning, but those that remain steady over time. They are built on a foundation of trust, on a shared vision for the future, on a deep sense of companionship that does not fade when life becomes difficult. Recognizing this kind of love requires self-awareness. It requires you to be in tune with your own emotions and to trust the instincts that tell you when something is right or wrong. Too often people ignore their inner voice, convincing themselves that their doubts are irrational or that they are simply afraid of commitment. But there is a difference between normal relationship fears and the deep nagging sense that something is not as it should be. If you feel at peace with someone, even in moments of disagreement, it is a sign that the connection is built on something real. If you feel constant anxiety, uncertainty, or the need to prove yourself, it is a sign that something is misaligned. Love should not be a source of suffering. It should not leave you exhausted, doubting your worth, or questioning whether you are truly wanted. The right relationship allows you to exhale. It gives you space to be yourself. It provides a sense of security that is not dependent on constant reassurance, but is instead rooted in a deep, unshakable understanding. And when you experience that kind of love, you will realize that peace is not boring. It is the foundation of something lasting. Love is not just about attraction or companionship. It is about alignment. When God is leading you to your soulmate, one of the most undeniable signs is the way your values, purpose, and direction in life begin to align. This alignment is not something forced or manufactured. It is something that happens naturally, often without you realizing it at first. The person meant for you will not just complement you emotionally, they will resonate with the deepest parts of your soul. Many relationships struggle because people mistake surface-level compatibility for true connection. They assume that shared interests, physical attraction, or momentary excitement are enough to sustain a relationship. But when the foundation is weak, those elements alone will not hold everything together. A relationship built on fleeting attraction rather than shared values will eventually expose its cracks. That is why many people feel an initial spark with someone, only to later realize they have fundamental differences that prevent them from building a future together. When God is orchestrating the meeting between you and your soulmate, there will be a sense of alignment that goes beyond preference and moves into purpose. Your worldview, your beliefs, and your fundamental principles will reinforce each other rather than contradict. This does not mean you will agree on everything, but the core of who you are, your morals, your vision for life, the way you see family, relationships, and faith will be in sync. You will not feel the need to constantly explain yourself or defend your beliefs because your partner will already understand them. The right person will not ask you to compromise on the things that matter most. Too often, people settle for relationships where they must suppress or alter their core values just to maintain harmony. They convince themselves that love means sacrificing fundamental beliefs or overlooking major differences, but love should not require you to lose yourself. The right relationship will reinforce the parts of you that matter most. Instead of feeling like you are constantly negotiating your values, you will feel like you are growing into them more fully. Another sign of divine alignment is the way your paths seem to move in the same direction. This does not mean you will have identical careers or interests, but your ultimate goals in life will not conflict. If one person envisions a life rooted in stability and family while the other prioritizes an unpredictable, self-focused lifestyle, the relationship will always feel like a struggle. When God is leading you to your soulmate, you will find that your aspirations and priorities naturally complement each other rather than pull you apart. It is also important to recognize that shared values do not mean a lack of individuality. You and your soulmate will still be unique individuals with your own strengths and weaknesses, but the differences between you will not create division. They will create balance. Where you are weak, they will be strong. Where they need growth, you will provide encouragement. This is what makes the connection feel like a partnership rather than a competition. One of the most profound aspects of being with the right person is that your relationship will not only bring you personal happiness, but will also contribute to something greater. A true soulmate does not just make your life better in a selfish sense. They help you fulfill your purpose. They push you toward the path you were always meant to walk. You will find that being with them does not distract you from your calling, but instead strengthens your ability to pursue it. When two people are truly meant for each other, their relationship serves as a foundation for something bigger than themselves. They inspire each other to grow, not just as individuals, but as contributors to the world around them. They see their love as something sacred, something that is meant to serve a higher purpose rather than just satisfy temporary desires. There is a deep sense of fulfillment, not just because of how they make each other feel, but because of how they push each other toward becoming the best versions of themselves. The beauty of divine alignment is that it removes the constant struggle of trying to force something to work. Instead of feeling like you must constantly compromise on what matters most, you will find that being with this person feels like stepping into the life you were always meant to have. The relationship will not feel like a detour or a distraction, but a continuation of the path you were already walking. And that is the clearest sign that what you have found is not just a temporary connection, but something divinely appointed. Love, when it is divinely orchestrated, does not come as a distraction or an obstacle. It comes as a source of growth. One of the most undeniable signs that God is leading you to your soulmate is the way they challenge you to evolve into the person you are always meant to be. This is not about comfort or validation alone. It is about transformation. The right person does not simply affirm who you are in the present. They push you toward who you are meant to become. Too often, people settle for relationships that keep them stagnant. They find comfort in familiarity and routines that do not demand anything more from them. But love is not meant to be a place where you remain unchanged. True love forces you to confront your weaknesses, to grow past your limitations, and to rise above the fears that have held you back. This process is not always easy, and at times it can be deeply uncomfortable. Growth requires discomfort. It requires confronting the parts of yourself that you have ignored, the habits that no longer serve you, and the fears that have kept you from stepping fully into your purpose. A soulmate is not just a companion, they are a mirror. They reflect back to you both your strengths and your shortcomings. They challenge you, not because they want to change you into someone else, but because they see the potential within you that you may not yet fully recognize. Their presence in your life makes you more aware of the areas where you need to grow, not in a way that diminishes your worth, but in a way that calls you to something higher. This growth does not come from criticism or control. It is not about one person forcing the other to change. Instead, it happens naturally through the dynamic of the relationship. The right person inspires you to become better, not because they demand it, but because their presence alone encourages it. You find yourself wanting to be more patient, more understanding, more disciplined, more compassionate, not out of obligation, but because being with them reminds you of the kind of person you truly want to be. This process of growth is mutual. Just as they push you to grow, you do the same for them. A soulmate connection is not one-sided. It is a partnership where both people refine each other. They see the best in you, even when you struggle to see it in yourself, and you do the same for them. When one person faces doubt or insecurity, the other provides reassurance, not through empty words, but through genuine belief in their potential. Many people assume that love should always feel easy, that if a relationship requires effort, it must not be right. But real love does require effort. Not effort to force something unnatural, but effort to become the kind of person who can sustain deep, meaningful love. There will be moments of friction, moments where old habits and fears try to resurface, but in a soulmate connection, these challenges are not threats, they are opportunities. Instead of creating division, they create growth. One of the clearest signs of divine love is the way it aligns with your personal development. If a relationship is leading you away from your purpose, making you shrink yourself or causing you to compromise your values, it is not from God. But if it is making you stronger, wiser, more confident in your calling, and more in tune with the person you are meant to be, it is a sign that you are on the right path. A soulmate is not someone who completes you. They are someone who helps you become whole. They do not fill a void or rescue you from your struggles. They walk alongside you as you grow through them. Their presence does not make life perfect, but it does make the journey more purposeful. They remind you that love is not just about happiness, it is about becoming. One of the most undeniable signs that God is leading you to your soulmate is the sense of divine confirmation that comes with the relationship. This confirmation is not always loud or dramatic. It is often a quiet but persistent knowing that this connection is different. It is a feeling of deep alignment, an unshakable peace that transcends emotions and circumstances. It is not about wishful thinking or trying to convince yourself that something is right. It is